Good evening, it's almost 5 PM Eastern Time, almost 10 PM UK time, and I'm just going to go and recap my trades for today, which is Tuesday the 22nd of August 2023. On my screen at the moment is the daily MES chart, and we're looking at the last couple of months. We can see today we had a bit of a we've had this bit of a bear flag the last couple of days, pulled back up and touched the 8 moving average. I'll be honest, I was expecting us to get closer to the 20 or the 50, but maybe we still got time for that over the next few days. So looking forward over the next 2 days, potential flag. We're going to look on the 60-minute in a second. We've pulled back up into this area here, so we could be just coming down, and we're just breaking and retesting this area for a potential move down. So that's one scenario. The other scenario was the bear flag we just discussed, which may keep moving until we get back up to around here, which will be joining on with a 50 moving average, and we've got this area as well of supply. And the last scenario we could be looking at will be that we might just consolidate for the next week or two just in this area before the market decides to make a decision which way it wants to go, down or up. So that's what we're looking at. So it's nothing groundbreaking, because it's either going to go sideways, it's either going to go up, or it's going to go down. But it's nice just to put it into pictures to see where we are. So let's go into the hourly chart. So look at this lovely trending channel we've got, the uptrend. On Friday, I think that was, yeah, Friday, we came in, touched this level here, 43.50, which is a lovely low, one of the levels which has been on, which I talked about in the pre-market video. Definitely on this pre-market, and probably on this pre-market. I've had an eye on that area for some time, and so that gave us the bottom of the channel. And then when we pivoted up, we got the top of the channel, and then it wasn't until we pulled back on Monday yesterday, it gave us the bottom, so we could link this channel together to create the first channel. And then Monday, was it Monday at around 3 PM, we had the high, and that let us then link these two together to create this upper channel. And if you can see, we linked these two together there and there, and today we came in, we ran into the top of this channel just in the pre-market. Frustrating, because it's an area I was watching for a short, and it rejected this area perfectly, and look where it came down to. Don't forget, we linked that pivot to that pivot, and it created this channel, and we perfectly touched the bottom of that channel. So this channel is definitely something to keep an eye on over the next few days. So tomorrow we are looking at a bit of a, possibly we're looking at a bit of a bear flag, and we need to break down through the 4400 area, which is a big significant number, psychological number as well. And we also need to break through the 50 moving average on the hourly, and at the same time we need to break through the bottom of this channel as well, and potentially look for a touch of 43.75 and maybe a retest back up to this area 4400 for a move down. So that's a potential move on the 60-minute. But anyway, this is a recap of today's trading. So let's go into the 5. I mainly use the 5-minute chart. I may refine the entry on a 2-minute chart, but my entries are always based on the 5-minute. So yesterday I wasn't too pleased, because I was trying to take plays which are not part of my playbook, like off of the VWAP, but so today I wanted to just play the levels, because the levels work perfectly. And I missed this today. I was having my lunch actually when this happened, and when I put my video together in the pre-market live, would have been at about 8 AM I think it was, no, 9 AM up here. I'd already missed that move down. But one thing I didn't really notice in the pre-market was this little GBI, and the 8 and the 20 moving average crossed as well, and GBI is one of my plays in my book, usually for an ad, but I would consider taking it as a small scalp play, using the stop above that green bar and then just letting it run. In fact, even if you miss that GBI, you had this opportunity to take it here, and it's right up to the moving average as well. So disappointed that I missed it, but it doesn't matter. You know, my levels work quite well, and look at that, you can't say that level wasn't valid. 44.3650. We've known about it for at least a few days, probably a week or two, and there we go. We touched that level, and it's a big sell-off from that level. So that's why it's always worth keeping your levels up from previous days as well, because let's see where that level came from. There you go. So that level came from the 17th of August, also from this area here, from the August the 15th through to the 17th, and I'm pretty sure we can trace it back even further if we can actually get back. So it goes back a long way. 43, here we go, and all the way back to July, and it probably goes beyond that, July and the beginning of August as well. So there you go. So these levels are pretty significant, and that's why I like to leave my levels up. And we finally come up to that level, touched it, the top of the channel as well, kind of confirmed it, and it would have been a great short. But I won't dwell over that. Not that I'm too bitter, of course. So we had this sell-off, and we had decline in volume on the sell-off as well. So usually that means there's weakness. So I was trying I did have a bit of a long bias today, because if we look in the channel, we're in a bit of a long micro trend. So we are putting in higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. So my bias was slightly long today, and I think that's probably affected my trading. So I should really go into days without any bias. So let's go backwards. 1 second, reset the chart. So my first trade today was along off this level, and it was a small win and a stop for break even. Same here as well. I went long on this channel, got out a couple times here, used this as a target, and then I stopped out on the remainder. Should have really used a break even, but I wanted to add in this channel, so I did get another position down here.
Paul, here's your reminder.
That's my reminder.
Get out of trades.
So I did want to add also down here, and I think my entry was, let's just go back to it. In fact, every pullback I was buying. So it was, I got in on the edge of this. I was a bit in the red for a little bit, and then it pushed up, and I took a little tiny bit of profit, not enough because I didn't have many shares or many contracts. But the most painful thing is that I'm still trying to go for these home runs. You know, try and push it back up to this channel. That was my target today, and on hindsight, I should have been really expected to come back down to this channel, bottom of the channel, which is what it did. So that was another small winning trade, and then eventually I saw these topping tails, and I kind of got rid of some of my contracts down here, and the rest, as I broke down through the low, I got out with the rest. And I'm getting into over trading territory now. So again, this level 4400, a big psychological number, and we're getting close to the bottom of this channel as well. So I think my first entry was about here, and note the volume congestion as well, highly congested volume, and we've got this red line which is a point of control, which usually shows areas of higher volume. I don't think it was there earlier when I was getting in here. I think we got that after this here, because you can see all this congested volume as well would have brought this volume control up. So I think I got entry there, and I added on the pullback there, and I added on a pullback there, still didn't take any profit, and I think I took a little tiny bit of profit there, and again I was aiming for the VWAP and the 50 moving average, and in the end I took out some just as we broke that candle, and I was expecting it to be another little pullback, so I think I may have added there as well. So yeah, I did, I added there as well. Expect it to come back up to put in a move like this, but it didn't. It pulled right back down, and so I took a stop a bit. My break even with all the ads were probably around here, so I took a stop as we came back down through the 4400. And again, I should have stopped trading at this point, but then I took this off of the channel and I added here as well. I'm still trying to push for this VWAP and even the break of the VWAP, and then it came back down. I added again, and something of interest, and I'll go through that in a minute. I was watching the volume, and this bar here was a high volume bar just here. So this volume bar here, and this is a custom control I wrote. I kind of used a few open source control indicator code, and I made my own controller, my own volume indicator, which highlights any volume bars of interest. So this is highlighting a higher than normal ultra high volume bar, and then we came back down. We saw this move down with another ultra high volume bar, or well above average volume, and then the same here, above average volume and above average volume here. So I was adding on all of these areas, and I added here as well on this volume bar, which was that one there. So I was accumulating. So I was basically thinking about it now. In fact, I'm going to put just an example of Anna Cooling's accumulation, chapter 5 in her book, A Complete Guide to Volume Price Analysis. And technically, and I didn't think of it like this today until about 5 minutes ago, I was probably accumulating at the bottom just like the smart money or the pro traders would be. And I'm going to put this here, this chart, and this is a great book, by the way. I really recommend. In fact, I'll put a link to this book in the description, and this is probably the book you want to be looking out for. So in Anna Cooling's book, she describes an area accumulation where the campaign accumulation of the smart money or the inside money or the big hedge funds, whatever you call them, are all accumulating shares, and they accumulate at the bottom of this channel. And what they're doing is, you see higher increased volume, and as you can see this candle here with increased volume linked down to here, and let's change that. And then we've got another area here, so we've got a sell-off with increased volume, and the same we can say here. We've got this candle selling off with increased volume just here, and then we can go back to this one again. We've got increased volume bars there as it sells off here, and I think you get the general idea. We've got this increased volume here as we're selling off here, and the same here and the same here. So, and the idea is that the smart money, and these are basically the big hedge firms or the high frequency traders, are all accumulating at the bottom of this area. And technically, and I didn't think I was doing this, I was doing it without realizing, I was seeing the volume spikes down, and buying on all of these dips. And then I'll get to the bit where I didn't handle it very well, and then we saw this push up to the VWAP, and I was doing okay. All of my shares, my average price was about here, so it was really good position to be in. And I was pushing for the 200 moving average, and technically in my mind I was waiting for this home run back up to the top of this channel. And you can see on the book, in her book, she's got the breakout area here as well, waiting to push out on higher increased volume. So let's just go through that again on here. So we had increase in volume here, and we had increase in volume here. So we were selling off, which probably meant there's a little bit of weakness in that sell-off, strength in the sell-off I meant, But then what I saw, I ignored that, and I watched the increasing of volume as the price was increasing. And then the sell-off candle was about the same volume, so I just assumed it's just going to be a natural pullback. And you know, oh, this is what I was expecting to do: push up, come down, play around at the VWAP for a bit, push up, maybe play around at this 200 moving average, maybe at these levels as well, because the levels always work out pretty well, and then before touching this channel. And in my mind, that was my game plan for this move, for this entire move at the bottom. And so I was basically being a greedy little pig. So I should have just taken profit there, and I just saw greed, and I should have taken profit as it pulled down and broke that candle as well. So this is bad trade management. Probably I should have just taken off more contracts here and maybe start to accumulate when I came back down again. But in the end, I came down, and don't get me wrong, all of my losses I made, and you know, some of this stop outs I made up here, I'd already made all that back through this little bit of a move, but I could have been much more comfortable. And so by the time I got down to, I think my main stop out was as it got down to this 50 moving average, and then I did buy back down here again. So, and in the pre-market, I've just closed it a few minutes ago. That was what my Alexa was telling me to do, to close my trade, so I closed it just here. So end of the day, I was slightly green. Wasn't very well handled today. I need to work on my management, but I wanted to highlight this excellent book and this excellent graphic as well, because without me thinking about it, this is almost exactly what I was doing today, buying in the dips in this area of accumulation, waiting for this big push up. But looking at this now, and on hindsight, possibly we're still in the accumulation phase. So you know, the start of the accumulation phase was here, and maybe this is the top of the accumulation phase, and we haven't quite finished yet. So maybe there's still some buying opportunities around here before we see a push back up. I think that's similar to what we discussed when we went on to the daily. So that's it really, that's me done, that's my trading for the day. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too long. I like doing these videos because it's my own personal record of how I traded in a day. I'm not a big fan of doing videos. I hate talking on video, especially to myself, but I'm finding it very helpful speaking out loud about these things, because tomorrow I may even listen back to this video and see how I can improve on the next day. So just to sum up, we've got this little bit of a pullback on the daily. Volume is decreasing slowly, but the candle size are all relatively the same. So we're not seeing any increase in volume. So potentially this is just a pullback, and where it ends, I don't know. It could end. This is where would be a great area for it to end this pullback, and then it would be a break and retest of the 50 moving average, and we see the move back down. So that's potentially something we could be looking for. But volume's neutral, it's below average. It's actually decreasing volume on this pullback, so it does look a little bit bearish still, but only in the next few days will tell us what we're doing. So earnings tomorrow night. I think Nvidia's got earnings post market tomorrow, Wednesday, so that might move the market a little tiny bit. Don't think there's anything of significance, but that's it. Anyway, have a lovely evening, and thank you for watching this video. And don't forget, if you do like it and it helps you, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you very much.